The last time out went a little bit better than we might have expected, honestly, winning that final against Porto. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. I still think we were the deserving winners in the end, but what that means for us is massive. And that means that we are in the Champions League groups this season. We get lots of money from that, which we haven't actually got yet, but we've got a chance now across this transfer window today to build a squad, hopefully, that can challenge for the title this season, or at the very least, make those changes in the progression to at least getting us towards a squad that could maybe win it the year after. I don't know. I'm just making excuses. We move. As always, if you have been enjoying the series up to this point, drop a like. That would be very, very important to me. So thank you very much for that in advance. Also, apologies for the fact that there wasn't a video on Monday. I did try to put a community post up, but I know how those are kind of hard to see sometimes with YouTube. But basically, unprecedented heat in the UK over those 2 days meant that it was, I probably could have managed to record one, but it wouldn't have been good, and I would rather at least try to put out a good video than a bad video, even if it takes a little bit longer. So that's what we're hopefully going to do today. I think the best place to start, though, is, as always with these situations, looking at the squad and where we need to strengthen over the course of this summer. I'll just catch you up, actually, before we do that on the budget situation. You can see we've got more bids for Silla coming in as per. We've got £5.5 million, which is probably the most I think we've ever had at any point in the save at SecondYellowCard anyway, and a decent-sized wage budget, but when you look at the kind of players that we'd need to maybe sign now, it's perhaps not as much. That said, with some of the new signings we've been targeting lately, we tend to be able to get them on lower wages, and thus I think there's definitely a nice amount of money in there for that. Now, I will be able to ask the board later for some more cash, but I can't do that until such time as our Champions League money comes in. That should be around about £15 million. So the moment that we get that stuff confirmed, I'll be able to ask the board for a little bit more transfer budget. So expect a decent amount of spending in this episode, and possibly an even larger amount of spending in the next episode. Who knows at this point? Now, we do still have to be careful, of course, about how we spend that money because of the squad registration rules, which is now why we are prioritising those under 18 or 18 and under players that we can register for free in the league. It will still cause us some issues in Europe because you still have to be at the club a certain amount of time for that, so we do still have to bear that in mind. However, I think that's the path we really need to go down, and looking at the team as it is right now, you can see that there are definitely a few holes that I think need to be filled. I would still like, perhaps, if we could find another really solid centre-back, but it's not exactly top of the priority list. I just feel that the depth there, in spite of the number of centre-backs, when you play a back three, you kind of don't want your fifth choice coming down like, you know, we want, I think one more guy, if we can find someone lovely, would really pick that up, particularly as we've got the issues with contracts on people like Turnison and Jokanovic, potentially, although we will have to do contracts today as well. Right side, absolutely stacked. Now, with Boyce and Sumare, Ilsa can still play there as well. Victor, the right side is absolutely lovely. Got tons of options there, but the real big issue in this team for me is what happens if Terry Clotey leaves. And not even if he leaves, what happens if he just stays and we have nobody really to back him up? Because behind him, it's Heckman there, Des Lagorda, who's a centre-back, you could see that it really goes off the rails very quickly. Left wing-back role is going to be the prime hunting ground. That's where we must sign. Now, obviously, with the scouting I've been doing, it's more broad than that, so we might well find some absolute bargains and we can't resist, but we really do need to find a left wing back. I want to be finishing this window with another guy that can sit behind Terry Clotey, because let's be honest, they're not going to be as good as him. I still think, though, we might be able to keep Terry. I think if we just keep bumping that release clause up over and over and over, we're starting to price out other teams and what they'd actually conceivably want to pay for a player from a team like SecondYellowCard. His release clause is now 17 million, and I wonder if it might actually be starting to get prohibitively expensive for other clubs. We'll see, but there's that. Up front, I would like to look for another striker, but actually I must admit, Rafa Valencia did impress me last season. 34 goals in all competitions is a really nice return for him, so big up him. But obviously, if we find someone amazing, I'm still going to go after them if they're cheap enough, but it's not like our main priority. It really is a case of left wing back, and then everything else is a case of, if we see a fantastic player, we try to get them, but left wing back is the priority. In terms of scout assignments, our scouts are a little bit behind at the moment. That's because, of course, back at the start of the year, I did one of the special scouting setups. I'm making a video on this at the moment, a proper in-depth guide on how to do this like properly, because I realize I sort of explain it in cursory ways, both on stream and here, but I want to do a proper walkthrough of how I find these players. So that's going to be coming out next week, hopefully, with like a proper go through, because I realize there's a lot of stuff that I sometimes gloss over. Needless to say, our scouts have got their work cut out. So a lot of these guys we probably won't see much from today because they won't be getting a chance to get scouted, but don't worry, there's some guys that are much more advanced in their scouting, and there might be some players that I'm just willing to take a punt on from what I can see, and I'm excited about some of those guys. So ignore these ones for now, but look, there's a B- guy here. He's a centre-back as well. 1 second. Oh my god. He's 6'5". Marlon Mendes is an 8. Literally, I just saw him in that report right there. He's got good temp poles, heading marking, I mean, they could be a bit lower. Obviously, tackling looks solid, positioning looks decent, bravery's good, aggression's solid. He looks relatively good acceleration as well, good jumping reach. Take a punt straight off the bat here, because he's 18, so he would be homegrown. Yes, he would be homegrown. He's only just turned 18 as well. That's how good this guy potentially could be. What do we reckon? Maybe? No way. They went for the lowest option. That was just the default. 195 grand. Yes, please. Okay, we're off to a flyer, friends. Join me, if you will, as hopefully we find some more lads like Marlon. Bear in mind, I do like to have players much more scouted than that, but sometimes you just see someone and go, yeah, he might be good. Even if he's on the lower end of some of those things, he's probably still worth the 200k as a punt, to be honest. But it's Turnison. Turnison is the one we have to try to extend, and he's already on 10k a week. That's the biggest one of these. The rest of them are okay for the moment. I think there's a few next summer. Luskov, Carlson as well. Frankie Williams, Randy Boyce as well? Really? Jesus Christ. He wants 20 grand a week. The issue is, he's actually really good. I could probably get it a bit lower than that. He's got great jumping reach. He's spectacular in the air. He's got great tackling, positioning, marking, heading, aggression, bro. He ticks all the boxes. Honestly, he could probably get in my Treaty United side. Okay, I've got him down to this. Well, I've added a relegation release clause and a landmark goal bonus for 15 goals. It gets the wage down a tiny bit, puts it more in line with a lot of our other high earners. The issue is that he wants a shorter deal, but at the least it would keep us tied over for a couple of seasons to the point where I could probably afford to offer him more by then, or we may not even be there by then. It's not ideal, but we need to have our best player tied down. It's worth noting, we'll also save money on the contract because Aaron de Belde will be leaving. That 6 grand we'll get back, so I'm basically just giving that money to Jakob Turnison. I think Rene Ilse will probably leave in the summer next year because he's 30 now. He's going to get phased out the squad anyway. He didn't really play for us much this year. Only 1 start in the league and none in anything else. He was basically just a super sub, and we have other players now. But I think for now, that's good. I'm more interested in what's happening with Marlon Mendes. If he'll talk to us, I'm going to be over the bloody moon. Oh, he's very interested in negotiating terms. Honestly, if I was managing Treaty United on my other save, he would not be even vaguely interested. It's mad. Okay, I probably could have got an extension clause in there, honestly, but I felt that he will probably get Ecuador caps, potentially. But if we can get him on a 5-year deal now, on relatively cheap wages, I'm willing to do... I hope that he's good. I mean, from what I can see about him so far, I like what I'm seeing. It's just, you never know. And he's 6'5". Right then, friends. First scout reports come through. This is the kind of stuff I'm on about. If you plan ahead and get this stuff done 6-7 months before your transfer window, you can start to get an idea. Now, admittedly, you'll see some of them with just lack a bit of knowledge. Some of them, however, I mean, he's expensive. But he's B-rated at this stage, which is really saying something. There's also this guy, Wilson Arango, who's a striker. A Colombian strikers. I would know nothing about them, but look at him. 18 years old. I bet you he can't finish. I would like to retract my former statement. At minimum, his finishing is 13 at 18 years old. It could be higher. His bravery, the composure is a little on the low side, but it could work. Concentration is a little bit. Great decisions. Off the ball is a bit sus. He's not the quickest, but he's got good acceleration. Good stamina, which makes sense from the pressing forward. Jumping reach is surprisingly good as well. What's his passing like? Vision's poor. He wouldn't be a very good deep lying forward, but depending on what the price range is like on someone like Wilson Arango, I do wonder if, how long is he going to be 18 for? Not long. So we'd have to get him quick if we were going to get him, particularly with how the work permits work. We've also got 2 new scout slots, I think, which is, the board just randomly told me without actually like making it obvious. So we're going to get 2 new scouts, which should really speed this up. The game's just gloating now. Suniuska, record highest points total without winning title. Cheers. Thanks, Joanne. I really needed that today. Still gutted about that. Although a lot of you were saying this in the comments, and I almost kind of agree that I'm almost glad we didn't win it, because I'm really enjoying our time at Suniuska, and I think we could build something really cool and win it the way we did with Tromsø, where we just went and smashed it one season. I really want to do that again. I may or may not be trying to sign Jesse Marsh as a scout, because look at the state of this knowledge. Also, hilariously, I'm fairly certain he was at Starbeck at one point when we were in that league, right? He must have been. What a fall from grace. Leipzig, Germany manager, Starbeck, now he could be our head scout. Not even head scout, just a scout. There's definitely a big update step on Wilson Arango. Oh, he hasn't just signed a new contract, has he? Oh, he hasn't. No, is that the same guy? Oh, he did. Oh, he literally just signed a new contract as we said that. While we took that time to try and scout him, he's just gone to sign a new contract. Which means that we can't sign him now because he'll just do the thing. But that is a pain. Holy God, he's quite good. He's not who I thought he was. I thought it was a goalkeeper for some reason. He's the guy we signed a few episodes ago. Yeah, I'll take that. God, if only he could tackle a little bit. He has no defensive capability, so we'll have to retrain him in the centre, but I think he's a good player, honestly. But now, Marlon Mendes, please be all right. Is he perfect? No. Is he better than I thought he was going to be? With these, yes. I was worried that these were going to be very low. As it is, they're not. The tackling's not... Actually, tackling's very good, to be fair. 15 jumping reach is pretty decent. 6'5". He's not got... He's not a world beater, but I still think he's a better signing than £190,000 should normally get you. Yeah, I'm actually fairly pleased with that still. Incredibly, Sigmund Husby is trying to leave Nordsjælland. I mean, look at the state of this guy, by the way. Still only 18, 3 caps for Norway. They want £7.2 million. If I had it, I'd pay it because he, for me, is a world beater and will be. We just simply can't afford it right now. Let me just... You know that if I had the money, I'd be buying him for that price. Particularly as apparently his wages, he'd only want £8 a week. That's his current wage. So I found someone, but he's one of these players that looks good, but has some slight problems about him. Most important, I mean, the biggest problems I see straight off the bat are the pace is not very good, acceleration is very good, and he's also a mercenary, which isn't the end of the world. It's just a bit annoying. The question is this a release clause? He's wanted by, well, a very strange trio of PSG, obviously, Napoli, and then EFK Göteborg as well. I kind of just feel like the resale value of someone of this kind of quality is probably worth it, even at £2.6 million. Not as a long-term strategy, but as a, we bring him in, when he's no longer able to be registered, we just sell him for $5 million with a 50% next sale fee clause to one of those clubs. I think it's worth being in the race, if nothing else. Yeah, so it is a release clause. It has to be. It says he has a minimum release clause to this value. It's a release clause of $10.5 million, which means we'd make about £8 million on the deal. And I just feel like he might actually sell for that kind of money, and it would give us a third striker for this season. And that's going to be so damn important to have that third striker this season so that we can actually rotate Carlson and Valencia around a little bit and have someone that can come in and genuinely do a job there. Even if he's not fantastic, I mean, he is fantastic. I just think there's a few little issues with him, and he will cause problems later down the line. But I think there's money to be made here, and if we get this deal done quickly before the other clubs do anything, we could steal someone that we can then sell him to those clubs for $10.5 million in a couple of seasons. The other option is this guy, Jeroni Cardenas, 26-year-old Peruvian, so you can see it's a very different set. By the way, Göteborg have put a bid in now on our Polish friend. He currently plays for AGF. No, he doesn't. He plays for Orbi. 1.6 million is the bid on the table at the moment from, I think, Vallecano. The issue with him is that his wages would be a lot higher. I've made an offer of 1.7 million, because when I tried to negotiate, they wanted his release clause of 2.7, but if they've accepted a bid from Vallecano of 1.6, I'd like to think that we can get him for 1.7 probably. Yeah, no, he wants £40,000 a week. I can't give him that. That's the issue. The wage is obscene on him, and he's a good player, he is, but 40 grand a week, we literally can't even. What is the max we're even allowed to offer at this point? 24. So, and look at the signing on fee. Hilariously, Jeroni Cardenas has just signed for Rayo Vallecano on £28,000 a week. I guess he didn't want to play in the Champions League then. Weird. Basically, I'd promised Silla that if we got a bid of £5 million, which I didn't think we were actually going to get on him, really, that I would let him go. And nobody's really bid up to that point. But now, it's annoying, though, because it's not even a bloody upfront, and it's non-negotiable, which means that I can't even negotiate it. But I don't really want to piss him off. And I think we might have to accept this and take the $5.5 million and just reinvest it in the team. Try to go younger and try and build this squad a bit more. I knew we'd need to sell someone in that midfield this season. I was kind of hoping it would be Frankie Williams, but needless to say, it now means I can just go and buy someone to fill that slot. If we did sell Frankie Williams too, I'd be happy to go out and bring someone else in too, because we could definitely find someone for less money than this, who's very, very good. The thing about Silla is he has low wages too, but I think we've got no choice but to accept it, because end of the day, I've made a promise to a man here, and I do kind of want to keep that. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. It's a shame about the breakdown, but we still get the money. It's all in installments. It's just a bit annoying when you don't get it all up front. But the one thing that does do is it now gives us a lot more money to work with. We can actually really start to wangle some of this and hopefully drive this back into the squad. We'll probably do a few league games in today rather than just one, because I want to do a bit more transfers. And particularly as we didn't have an episode on Monday, I want to kind of give you guys a bit more today as a sort of a apology, I suppose. It's time for Napoli. We kind of knew this was going to be the case. They're probably in Europe this year. Not that it matters. It's Napoli anyway, so we now don't have a striker. Oh, dearie me. A lot of this stuff is falling through at the moment. This is difficult, mate. Genuinely. We're losing out on a lot of targets as per, but I mean, I presume Napoli, they're in the Champions League and they are Napoli after all. So I just thought, we'll have a little look at the loan market. It just doesn't work most of the time. Incredibly, Inter have this guy, Roberto Catalano, who is a wing-back, native wing-back. He's relatively fast. His crossing and dribbling could be anywhere. He's got okay tackling, great technique and work rate as well, which is really useful. And they don't want us to pay. We'd only have to pay his wages, and even that's not full. To me, and he's 20, which means registered for the squad, bish bash bosh, should be fine. I think we kind of have to do this just to cover this off, because at the moment, I'm genuinely concerned that we won't be able to find a replacement for... I say replacement. Nobody's even come in for Cloti. He's not even got a wanted logo on him this summer, which is amazing. Have we just priced him out of the market entirely? And I'm happy with that. But I feel like if Catalano could do a job as a backup this season, this is kind of the direction we have to go. It doesn't help that we're going to lose 5 players from our squad to the Olympics. Sumare Madonsela, Makacek, Valencia, and Hernandez are all going to go to the Olympics. Brilliant. Cheers, lads. didn't need you for the league or anything. On loan for the season. We're not paying his full wage. He's not as good as Terry, obviously, but he'll do a fine job as a backup. He can tackle a little bit. He can do stuff, and that's what matters. And the fact is, because he's young enough, he won't have to be registered for the squad, and that's really important. Europe is going to be a different story. The squad is going to be a mess for Europe, but we might just have to take the hit this season and accept the fact that we're just going to earn a lot of money in Europe this year. And maybe if we get knocked out earlier, we could end up actually concentrating on the league a little bit more. Because a lot of the money that we're going to get for Europe is actually not going to come in until next season, basically. So I feel like this season is kind of like a preview of what we could do. But next season's transfer window, we're going to be working with hopefully 10, 15 million quid. But maybe if we make the right sales, we could be doing that this season too. It's just difficult, right? So with a wonderful turn of events, both our first and second choice goalkeepers, who were our registered players for the squad, are both at the Olympics. And as a result are not here. And we're missing quite a few players for this match, unfortunately. I've had to register the team around a little bit and remove someone just to add Dean Parry temporarily until such time as this is done. But I'm a little bit concerned that that registration deadline could catch us out here. But yeah, so he's in. We're missing Valencia. We're missing loads of people because of the Olympics at the moment. It's very annoying. They've gone already, even though it doesn't start till the 27th. But yeah, annoying is that. I don't know if other teams are going to have the same problem. There will be quite a few matches in today's episode as well, because I want to do a bit more content and find some more signings as well. So we're going to get through a few of these. Hopefully we can have a good start to the season. But as long as we're still up there and around, I don't think we're going to be in a title race this season in the grand scheme of things. I think FC Copenhagen will be well good again. But as long as we're continuing up there in Europe, I think we'll have a good season, hopefully. But it's going to be about building, really. It's very much a building season. Samson to pop one in. Can he drop this on Carlson's head in? Of course he can. Off to the perfect start. Suryaska 1 or B-0, and it's Christopher Carlson. Samson again. Carlson oh my god, he's done it again. We've had so many chances in this first half, but this is what Christopher Carlson does. It's 2-0 to us. I guess we'll just have to take it while our players are not here. Loti out on the left, doing his thing. Fires it over the top for Szymanski. He might be on side here. Szymanski, go on, Kamil. Oh, it's a great finish. Lovely assist from Terry. 3-0. Kamil Szymanski does the business. Down to Breda. Samson goes to the back post. Carlson knocks it down, and Szymanski's in. I don't know if that's onside or not, but it's 4-0 at the moment. Canalett's now to pop one in for Carlson. Oh my goodness, he's done it again. It's 5-0. FC Copenhagen are still winning by more than us, but we're 5-0 up here. Pretty comfortable 5-0 victory. Honestly, Christopher Carlson with the hat-trick of headers from like that. That's kind of crazy. We had so many other chances in this, but he takes those. Obviously, Szymanski grabbing a brace as well. Just great delivery all round in this game. Really, really strong work from the guys. Happy with that, but yeah, that isn't a method of scoring forever, you know? Nothing news. We actually are top. No, we're not top. How? My goodness me. So yeah, FC Copenhagen was 6-0 up in their game, but they actually conceded 2 late ones to butcher the goal difference. Silkeborg just put 5 past Midtjylland. How do they do this at the start of every single year? As we put 5 past Orby as well, so we couldn't have got off to a better start, but I'd like to have some players back in this team for next time around, because we can't continue like this. Nice to see Szymanski score, though. We need to get our head down and find some signings. Peppering people with set pieces at the moment. As Carlson's in it, he's literally done it again. This man... This start of this season has been utterly insane with him from these set pieces. I mean, we're scoring other goals, thank Christ, but so useful to have. Ronnie, put that ball in. Carlson's on. What a start to the season. It's 2-0. Carlson has 5 goals already this year. That is his first open play goal, but he's smashing it. Comfortable victory. They were okay in places. Parry had to make a couple of really good stops, but Carlson, once again, 5 in his opening 2 matches. That's a hell of a way to lead the line for this club. What a start to the season for him. Just insane. Despite all that, though, we actually do not top the league as a result of FC Copenhagen winning 3-0. They've already put 9 goals past teams this season. We've managed to get 7, and it's a really strong start from us, and we haven't conceded yet, which is good. But bloody hell, they're a good side. But we're just getting going, and this is without most of our players. We've got injuries, we've got players missing. All 5 of those guys that are missing are integral to this team, so I'm super excited with how we started. Samson being out there for 4 to 7 weeks, that is not good, because that is yet more players out injured. So I just found this guy, Luis Arboleda. Plays for Deportes Tolima in Colombia. He's 21 years old, so this is not entirely what we're looking for. I'm always willing to make exceptions when I find guys that are this good, and I've got an A. My scouts very rarely give an A+ rating to anyone. The only thing about him that's maybe not perfect is that his aggression and bravery are a little bit low, but his heading is decent, from what we can tell. Marking's decent, tackling's decent, positioning. Vision isn't amazing. He kind of ticks all the boxes, and if we could get him for a couple of million, I think the ceiling would be insane on him, hopefully. Oh my days. I thought he was going to cost 3.3 million. I expected it to cost max amount, basically. £850,000 with 500 over the next 12 months. That is insane. To me, that right there is monumentally good business, because even if he wants a release clause, it surely isn't going to be less than like 10, 15 million. He's very good. If he talks to us, that's the question though. The release clause is at least relatively high, and I do think he's an insanely good defender, and I think he could really strengthen that backline. I know that he's not completely within what we were trying to do with the signings, but sometimes when you find someone like this, you kind of just have to take them because someone else will. We're getting him. We are actually getting him. We won't know for a while, but I just think that He's just outrageous. Firing one out wide, and Cloty will probably catch this easily, and Christopher Carlson's just making his way to the box. Oh, Cloty takes it short. Szymanski, back for Cloty. Canalets! What a finish! It's 1-0 Sunioska. Bostian Canalets makes it 1-0. Great finish from him. Canalets from the spot now. Drops it home. I don't know who. I had no idea who was going to take that penalty, but it is 2-0. Canalets has grabbed 2 in the first 10 minutes. Pretty much as comfortable as you like. Those early chances really did set the scene, and we just couldn't seem to score any more beyond that, but Bostian Canalets saves our asses a little bit. Elsewhere, though, Nordsjælland and FC Copenhagen continue on winning. We just cannot seem to get the top spot off them. They got a late goal here that sent their game to 2-0 as well. So yeah, the top 3 looking very much like the top 3 again. But I'm hoping Nordsjælland just won't be quite as good this year. Midtjylland have had a woeful start once again, though. So I found this guy, Felipe Rivas. He's relatively cheap from Caracas. He's 18 years old. He'll join us immediately. He's decent. He's not spectacular, but he's fine. The decisions does worry me a little bit on him, but for that kind of price, I think we just kind of have to. 170,000 is still a bit more than I was expecting, but I think it's worth it at that price. I'm also tempted to just try and pick up this guy as well, Josef Jano from Seneca, because again, cheap. Might be okay, not entirely sure, but for some of these players, I just want to kind of get some bodies in just in case. 52,000. God, really. Even though we don't know that if he's that good, I think he'll be worth more than that. Is he brilliant? No, but I think it was worth the £50,000 to find out more than anything else. Sometimes you just have to take a punt. He's actually not very good. He's the least brave man in the world, honestly. He's just not great, but sometimes when they're like that, I just like to just take a punt on that kind of price. Terry bringing it down. Not had the best game of his life today, although Szymanski's in. Come on, Camille. He's through on goal. Has to finish. And he does. It's 1-0 to Sunioska. Lovely ball through from Szymanski. And, well, no, not for him. But there we go. It's 1-0 Sunioska. And hopefully be 4 out of 4. I mean, just yet again, comfort as all hell. Admittedly, we maybe underperformed a bit, but you've seen how we were in other games, so it kind of balances out. Brøndby had 1 chance in this match. We've just dominated. And that's also 4 wins out of 4 and no goals conceded. This was Makacek's first game back in the team, but Dean Parry did very well, coming in and was keeping 3 straight clean sheets. We've not conceded a goal yet this season. And it's not even just that. We don't even look like conceding goals at the moment. So us and FC Copenhagen, once again, going 4 for 4 at the start of the season. Nordsjælland in there as well, but they did drop points today, which is something. But, I mean, we're keeping step with them. That's all we can do. It really does help that we haven't had to play any European qualifiers, so we can just concentrate on this. We do have the Super Cup next, though, which is going to be the last game of today's video, but we're going to make sure that we get Arbalader in, and then we can wrap it up there, hopefully, because I'm melting. Oh, it's a good pass out as well. Kirchhoff's ball around the side. Bogart's through, and he's already dinked the keeper, and it's 2 minutes in. Ralph Bogart scores for Man City. I mean, come on. We weren't expecting to win this game. We're going to give it a go, though. What? How was that a free kick? That's insane. And it's going to be a goal as well. That was never a free kick. He just ran past the defender and took a shot. He didn't even touch him. That's a joke. Cloty to the byline. Fires it across and Carlson might... Oh, he scored! Christopher Carlson has scored and it is 2-1. How is he not... He's got to be onside. Christopher Carlson's just scored against Manchester City. Come on, Big Chrissy. If we get behind their midfield too, like... Well, not like that, but sort of like that. Actually, Valencia's got it. Oh, surely, Rafa, please. Oh, no, he has to score there. That is a very impressive pass, you know. If Steenberg Johansson can find the right ball, which he doesn't as it goes. Frankie Williams, though. Ilko is through, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. That was a huge chance for Ilko. It's a lovely little ball through. Oh, it's a good touch. Uphoff gets it back, and that is the goal. It's Stein Kirchhoff, makes it 3-1, kills the game off. We've given it a bloody good go, considering it's Manchester City in a final. Understandably, we lost the game. Unfortunately, I can't show you the stats because it does that stupid trophy celebration thing instead of showing you the match stats. But yeah, 3-1. We weren't expected to win. We did a bloody good job, though, considering. Had some chances in the second half, but we still got 3 million quid just for playing in that game. That's amazing. That is like a signing. Well, here he is. Luis Arboleda is in. We've paid 800,000, rising to 1.3 million pounds for this guy, and I think that might be the best piece of business in the entire summer. He could even do a job as a striker. Honestly, if I could actually play him as a deep line forward. If I desperately needed to, I could put him there. He's just astonishing. Look at the speed on the man for a centre-back as well. He's just ridiculously good. He can really pass the ball. No vision, but I mean, for the price we've just paid for this guy, that is a steal. I'm so happy to get someone like Arboleda in. That makes this transfer window feel a lot better. We've still got more time in the window for the next episode too. And now that we've got more money as well, I expect to be spending a few more signings towards there. But we need to find more people like this. If they're a tiny bit younger, that would be fantastic so we can get them as homegrown. But that right there makes me happy. And the way we started this season makes me happy as well. Like signings-wise, I think we've got a backup for Close, even if it is only on loan. We have picked up a couple of youngsters who I do kind of like. We've missed out on a couple of players. I feel like we identified the right targets, but we're just not able to get the quite the right amount of clout to actually get those signings over the line in the end, which is just how it goes sometimes. We've still got more money to spend for the rest of the window. There's still another £6 million there, admittedly. it'll have to be a bit more like this in order to get the wages over the line. But still, I think we could definitely pick up a couple more guys before the window shuts to really strengthen this team. And I think the rest is just going to have to become a picking apart players as the season goes on, trying to find those little deals like we did with the likes of Ilko and Canalets. Those types of signs that just come out of nowhere. Those are the ones we need to keep making, just keep strengthening this side. We may not win the league this year. We may not do anything in the Champions League. But I definitely think this squad looks stronger, and it's only continuing to get stronger. And Carlson is already setting up for one hell of a season. I need to get Valencia back into form, though, but he has only played one game, and it was against City. We're 4 for 4. I don't know what could possibly be better than that. We get FC Copenhagen at the start of the next video as well, along with transfers, as well as Champions League group stage draw. I'm excited. If you have enjoyed this episode, I realise it's probably been quite long, but I don't know, it's very hot in here. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like. That would be most wonderful. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That'd be gorgeous too. I stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so go follow there too. And I'll see you guys very soon for some more Sunniuska majesticness. Hold your gun. Capybara. Bye-bye.